Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, Rogue Gambit, the man who will be our guide through these vast new realities.
One life, one choice, one moment can destroy the entire universe.
Well, with that in mind, let's ponder the question, what if?
All right, who wants to start?
Well, seeing as you have way more than me, go for it.
All right, Gecko Man. What if you were on Earth 616,
616.
a part of the uncanny X-Men? What would your costume look like?
What would my costume look?
Colors?
Wow. Wow, you just had to start with that one. Well, I guess it would depend on like what powers I would have.
You can have whatever you want in this,
You're saying I could have any powers.
Right? We're not talking about powers though.
But if I didn't know my powers, if I don't know my powers, for the moment, I would just have basically an all black
Oh, that's cool.
suit.
Okay.
Nice little face mask.
Oh, face mask, I like it.
Yeah.
Is any part of your face showing? Is like completely covered? Your eyes popping out?
Popping out?
Are you going full snake eyes here? What's?
No, not full snake eyes. It would be kind of like a Black Bolt mask.
Okay.
Kind of like a helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Cowl, maybe.
Yeah. There we
Cape?
go.
No cape.
No cape. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen The Incredibles?
I understand. I understand the dangers, but sometimes the flair is worth it. Boots.
Yeah. Boots. Definitely boots.
Underwear on the inside or outside?
On the outside.
Okay, for sure. Padding? Is this like armor? Is it
Yeah,
just...
definitely armor.
Okay.
I would say armor and nice leather gloves.
Nice. Ooh, gloves. I like it. All right. What's your first question for me?
All right, my question. Let's say in the Star Wars universe.
What if, maybe?
Yeah, what if you were in the Star Wars universe
All right.
and you were inducted into the Jedi Order?
Fools.
What would be the style of your lightsaber?
All right. It would be...
Color, design?
So, yes, the hilt
Yep.
would be curved, like Count Dooku's.
Oh,
It would be very slender.
okay.
The beam would it'd definitely be purple because I'm definitely leaning towards the dark side. It wouldn't be like super powerful though. It would be like I like the slender look, and a little bit longer than most.
Okay.
I'd prefer two lightsabers if I can. The other one would be shorter, a lot like Ahsoka's.
Okay.
It'd be like more of like a dagger, short hilt, short blade.
Would it be curved as well or straight?
No, the second one would be straight.
Okay. Man, I like that. Nothing else?
It definitely want to be flashy.
Easily hidden.
A black handle on the short one,
Oh.
and a gray handle or silver handle on the other one.
That definitely shows you to go into the dark side.
Yeah, I think that's what they would look like.
Oh, okay. Man, I just imagine that right now, and that's really cool.
All right, Gecko Man, what if you were in the Marvel universe?
All right.
Earth 616 again. Nick Fury comes up to you, tells you he's putting a little team together of extraordinary people. What would you say?
Well, again, it would go off of like what powers I would have, or if I had powers.
Right. Maybe you'll just feel cool. Well, but would you accept? Would you be like tentative to listen to the Master of Spies? Would you join his boy band?
Well, knowing that he's a master of spies, I'd be very hesitant to join. But I think in the end I would join.
Okay.
So yeah, that's me.
Alrighty.
All right. Now, in the Marvel Universe, Earth 616, what would you do in the... what if you were in the cave that Tony Stark was in? You were in the same position, basically.
Okay. I'm as brilliant as he is.
Let's say you're me. I mean,
I would employ very different skills. And if they're trying to get me to build a Jericho missile, they're asking the wrong person.
They think they got the right person.
So I guess I would talk to my little friend and see if he has any ideas about how to get us out there. Probably try to use deception and such to get me outside, and then run for my little life.
No, like trying to learn, because the guy, I believe
like I said, I'd ask him for ideas. If he is smart enough to build us up some armor or weapons to use to fight him, then I'm down. But I'm not going to be very helpful. I might be helpful using the weapons, but I ain't going to be helpful building them.
All right, interesting.
All right, Gecko, what if you were in the Star Wars universe?
Oh,
and you were let's say a Padawan.
All right.
To a pretty new Jedi Master.
Okay.
So you're his first Padawan, learning the ways of the Jedi, and you're approached by a dark figure who tells you about the powers of the dark side. Would you accept to become his apprentice?
Depends on what I get out of it.
The powers of the dark side.
Limitless
power.
Instantly no.
Oh, wow.
I would probably slice the dude's head off.
You would cut him down in your anger?
Exactly.
Okay. Fine by me.
Yeah. I've thought about this.
You're really strong.
Well then, back into the Star Wars universe for me. Right. What if... Now, this is kind of going off of your question here. You were a Padawan, but to a very...
I definitely go to the dark side.
That's not the question I was asking. Okay, well, maybe it sort of is the question I was asking. But you are the Padawan of actually a fairly older Jedi Master. Been a part of the Jedi Order for a long time.
Oh, Yoda.
But you find out that he is using dark side abilities and dark side artifacts.
I would definitely approach him by myself.
Okay.
And, figure out what's going on. Challenge him to a battle.
A duel of the fates.
A duel of the fates, as one might say. Maybe ask him for some pointers in dark side. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely approach him on my own. Be like, whoa.
All right.
What if you were on Earth 616 in the Marvel universe, and you were an Avenger?
All right.
But you had no powers. What weapons would you? Would you be like? Would you have weapons like the Black Widow or Hawkeye or maybe Bucky? Iron Man, what would it be?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would not a Tony Stark. Definitely not Tony Stark.
You don't want a big old...
No, I would see myself in the closer to the stealthy side.
Oh, okay,
like Black Widow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what type of weapons are you using then?
Basically anything silent.
Okay. Knives and swords. Yeah. Bows and arrows.
I'd basically be the Snake Eyes of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, man. If Snake Eyes joined the MCU, that'd be pretty fun. All
right. So going to the Marvel Universe. And you're approached by someone who says she says she can... I don't remember exactly how it goes in the movie, but... She can teach you the mystic arts.
Oh, I'm accepting all the way. Teach me the ways of the ancient.
All right. Let me a little follow-up question here. What artifacts?
Ooh. That's a good question. I love the leaping boots of Valtor, of course.
Oh yeah.
Those are pretty awesome. The Watoomb,
the staff of Watoomb.
It's not the staff. The wand of
Watoomb. Oh,
that'd probably be what I'd go with.
Okay,
maybe the leaping boots of Valtor.
And
I'd hope that the cloak of levitation picked me, but
it's already with Doctor Strange.
Exactly. All right, we'll get into what everybody wants to know. What if you were in the MCU? We had no powers. You're just normal old Gecko man, but you're approached by, Nick Fury to join S.H.I.E.L.D. Would you accept? Would you join S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Now, seeing as I'm just a normal person,
Yeah. And this is like, we're not saying, we don't know. Maybe Hydra's infiltrated it. Maybe it hasn't. We don't know. You don't know.
but of course, isn't Shield in the MCU kind of a secret?
Yeah.
Okay. So
bit.
not knowing
not
that
as much as in the comics and TV shows, but
yeah. Not knowing about them probably. I would probably be like, yeah, sure. Bring me. Come on, let's go.
I like it.
But if Hydra was a part of it and I was approached by Hydra,
You'd be like, yeah.
No. We all know about the two heads stuff.
I don't want two heads, okay?
All right. So let's do something a little different here for Star Wars.
Alrighty.
You're a clone.
Oh. Okay.
And let's say you're on one of those, on a pretty epic battle.
Okay.
One of your closest friends turns against your general. Okay. What do you do? What would you do?
I mean, I'd kill my friend.
Or
defend my general if that means killing my friend. I mean, I'm a clone. I do what I'm programmed to do. I'm programmed to fight for my general. I'm not programmed to have friends.
Okay. Not what I was expecting.
What if? No, this is a question everybody actually wants me to ask.
Oh my goodness, how many questions do those do you have?
What if you were in the MCU or 616? What superpowers would you have if you could have? Well, let's say you could have three
superpowers.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think we're gonna go with super soldier serum.
Okay.
Man, this is hard. Like, this is difficult to choose from. Mystic arts.
Okay.
And probably no. I don't know. I have. Oh man, this is hard. Like, there's so many good powers in the MCU. Fine. We'll just also. You know what? We'll also have. It's not really a superpower, but still, it's a superpower to me. The smarts.
All right. And genius level intellect.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
All right. Fine. If you're going to be like that. All right. We're in the Star Wars universe. Now, here's a question. This question is probably what people want to hear as well. You're just a normal guy. You're approached by a Mandalorian. What would you do in that situation?
Are they approaching me as like a friend, an enemy? Like, what are they offering me?
They're offering you to join.
Join Mandalore. Fight for the throne.
You have no idea what group this is.
Okay.
This is going to be like a 3-part question, so.
I would definitely accept.
You would accept?
Yes.
All right.
What? Be in wonder of their armor and weaponry and whatnot.
Tell me, what would be the color of your armor? What equipment would you have?
Black.
All black?
Armor. All black armor.
That would be cool.
like light.
Would it be black with like red visor?
No, it's all black. Maybe with some silver details on it.
Okay, okay.
Like emblem would be maybe silver. The weaponry I'd employ, I don't know the Mandalore weaponry all that well. I definitely want some sort of grapple. I'd want a sniper rifle. And I'd want some sort of blade. Yeah. Can't think of really anything else I might want as weaponry. Maybe some, smoke bombs or whatnot. I'd be a stealthy little Mandalorian.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. It makes sense of you being black. So that's cool. You just learned you had joined the Death Watch.
Well, I picked the right color.
They're gray, but okay.
Oh, okay. Dang it.
Dang it, picked the right color.
Well, they kicked me out. Okay. I don't know anything about the Death Watch. I can't remember.
They're a terrorist group.
Okay.
Until they get broken apart by Darth Maul, and there's...
Right. I would probably try to keep their trust, work the inside, but get information out to the good guys.
Okay.
Destroy them.
Smart.
All right. For me, we're going to the Star Wars universe. You are a Jedi Knight. What does your cloak look like? What does your lightsaber look like?
Oh.
And what type of what type of force powers do you have?
Okay. Well, I think I would normally just have the normal brown robes.
Okay.
Lightsaber. You're wanting the hilt as well, I'm assuming.
As much detail as you want to give.
I think it would be silver with some yellow coloring down the middle. That's gonna be cool. Gives it like an old Republic vibe that I like. It would have like kind of like it would extend a little beyond past the igniting point of the blade.
Okay.
And kind of give it like this cool blade feel.
Layer to it.
Yeah. My lightsaber color. I'm gonna have to choose yellow.
Oh my! I've never seen a yellow lightsaber. I don't think
there is yellow lightsaber in the Clone Wars.
Super cool.
Yeah. And you know what? One thing left. It wouldn't be just a normal lightsaber. It would be actually a lightsaber staff.
Didn't know that exists.
It does exist. It's really weird, but it's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So it would just yes.
Very cool. Very cool. And your force powers?
Force powers. Of course, I'm gonna use force powers to enhance my abilities, and I gotta have the force choke. Gotta have a little dark side force powers in there.
Of course.
And I think my last force power would have to be the force push.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I think we probably have time for one more.
More. And I think what I got, this will be a good one. This is for the Marvel.
Okay.
All right. So what if you have X-Men powers?
Ooh.
What would be your X-Men powers, suit, and would you join Magneto or Charles?
All right. First of all, screw Magneto and joining Charles. Love the dude. So am I do I have the powers of an X-Men? Do I get to pick different X-Men's powers, and what's my limit of how many powers I can have?
We're gonna say you have a limit of 2 powers.
2 powers. Oh man, I knew what it was if it was 3. I would choose between these 3. My suit's gonna be black with probably green.
Ooh.
Like a dark green, like kind of like Rogue's 1986, emerald, like almost with a hint of foresty in it.
That's cool.
But then with black instead of white as my main color, and then maybe some like I really want to like purple or something like Gambit-y. Maybe like purple gloves.
Purple gloves.
That would clash with the green. I feel like.
What about like maybe goggles? If you want goggles.
No, I definitely want to have goggles. I'd have like kind of like Cyclops' outfit from when he has the Phoenix Force outfit, with the big shoulders, and then like the really ridiculously large boots because I think that looks hilarious. And then, but with like the green on it, and then the something similar to like what you said with like a cowl type thing that covers the eyes. But I'd also have like a thing that comes over the mouth.
Okay.
That could be like purple or gray, gray. Mm-hmm. And then my powers. Oh boy, my powers would be X-Men powers. I can't grab that. That's not an X-Men power. I'd go with healing factor. And that's really hard not to choose. Oh man,
I'm fully expecting you to choose like explode.
It's either kinetic energy powers like Gambit or telekinesis. But I mean, like normally I'd pick some sort of athletic talent, but because I'm only down to X-Men, there's not really any good ones.
I'm a little surprised you haven't like gone right to a certain X-Men power.
I mean, there's some. Oh, we'll go with Storm's ability to control the weather.
Okay. I'm a little surprised you didn't like choose Rogue's.
I mean, I thought about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool power, but like by itself, like with another power, it's feel like all the other powers are useless. I would have, because like you're gaining people's powers all the time, So if it was just one, yes, I'd choose that. But when I can have 2, it's like I would rather not have the side effects of that if I could have 2 powers,
Okay. So Storm's powers and
Storm's healing factor.
Nice.
At least Wolverine's, if not higher. Alrighty. Let's move on to talk about Moon Knight as a whole.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll start us off here. Moon Knight. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of my, I think I said last time, it was like my second most enjoyed Marvel TV show. And I think it just did a really good job of telling the story of its main character, right? Of Moon Knight, of Stephen Grant, of Jake Lockley, the other guy.
Yeah.
Mark Spector. Mark Spector and Stephen Grant, just really good job telling their story. In the places that it didn't do as good of a job, maybe in the CGI or in the couple of the side characters, not being as interesting. Like, it wasn't terrible, It definitely could have been better in some ways. It's not like the greatest thing ever, but it just did a really solid job in just everything.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think they also did a really good job of not going into backstory.
Yeah.
Just they could have easily went back in time and been like, this is how Mark Spector got his powers. No, they didn't do that. And I was actually quite impressed that they didn't do that. So it was I'm glad they didn't do that. And I think it made the show a lot better.
Yeah.
That's kind of the main point. That's the main thing I had for it.
Yeah. And I think that in that, they definitely stayed to the story they wanted to tell. They didn't have too much outside things influencing it, which just made it simple enough that it could just be a 6-episode TV show, right? So many TV shows try to tell too much, and they seem to run out of time on some stories, and you're like, they didn't wrap that up at all, But everything felt super wrapped up, and then they also had good twists. They had good. And then of course they had the ending that just left it very open for what could happen.
Yeah, and we could also say that it had even shows could have a hard time with a first episode.
Right, his first episode was very good.
Oh yeah, it really helped the show give us questions that we, I guess, really needed. And it was it really, I don't want to say pushed the boundaries, but it really...
Well, it's just different. All, any MCU thing we've seen so far.
True. It also did a very good job of saying disconnected from the MCU. And while, yes, who knows, we may get more in season 2 of Moon Knight, if there is one. There probably is. But we may get other heroes popping up, but...
Right.
But who's to say they aren't part of the MCU?
And I think, it did a very good job of keeping itself so separate from the MCU that, they can kind of do whatever they want with it,
Yeah.
Because, they could literally say, oh, by the way, this was during the blip, They could do lots of things to write it into the MCU or keep it separate from the MCU. Because Moon Knight clearly is not the type of guy that's I want to join the Avengers.
Yeah.
He's very Mark Spector and Stephen Grant aren't going to want that. Jake Lockley seems to not be on whole he seems to be a very lone wolf type of guy. So they did a really good job of not only having a well done TV show and story, but they left it where they can kind of do whatever they want with it. I think that was a very smart choice.
I personally like the whole personality switching at the start of the episode, at the very first episode. Yep. I liked that. You had no idea what just happened. And you see, now Steven has a gun.
Yep.
And what does he do? He throws it.
Right. Speaking of which, I think it's really interesting that they left so much of that open to, your own judgment. Because, we still don't know, because we know so little about Jake Lockley, we still don't know when he was showing up. Was he showing up in the first episode?
Maybe.
Was that always Mark Spector that did all the beating up in the first episode, or was some of that Jake Lockley? We don't know,
That's a good point. I personally really liked Khonshu. I thought he was a good character to have.
Agreed.
Especially in his suit in the...
That was fantastic.
The villain was okay. Could have been better.
Yeah, I really liked the villain for... he was one of my favorite parts, especially in the episodes that kind of dragged. Episode 2 I didn't really like, 3 I didn't like.
Yeah.
4 and 5 were really good. He was still really good, and he kept me interested in the show even when I wasn't as interested. I didn't love his culmination in the final episode. I didn't love that. I did like how he like stayed true to his character, but in the fact that when what's her face, Amit was like, "You're gonna be my avatar," he's like, "Wait, you're supposed to judge me," That was kind of cool, but at the same time, also didn't necessarily fit with who they've showed us in the show so far, where like it was just confusing at what I never got what his motivations were because of that. Like, he wanted to judge people based on before they could commit evil, but like we don't know exactly why. We just know that he has some backstory with Khonshu. Really, that's like all we really know about him. And so he was a good villain, but like I still wish we would have explored kind of like why he was the way he was.
Yeah, that's why he's not like a super great villain to me. Anything else you want to say about?
Yeah, all in all, I think it did, like I said, a good job. I guess, we'll talk about Layla a little bit here.
Yes.
Like, I had a lot of mixed feelings about her the entire episode from the start. Like, I was like, you heard me always being like, why are they making her the way they are? And I still have no idea why they didn't just like call her who she really was in the comics. Why they decided to change her name, don't know. And then her becoming the Scarlet Scarab at the end, wasn't a fan of. Though I thought she looked good and her abilities seemed to be interesting. And then they just like left it open, like, oh, she just like gave it back. Like it just felt like so unnecessary. It would have been much more interesting to me if they would have, I can't remember the character's name, but from the comics that she actually was, just said she was that, gone into her backstory a little bit more when she's like in that scene with that old lady, getting her passport. Yes. And like instead of it being all ambiguous, it just didn't make any sense for it to be, in my opinion. So
I can agree with that.
So that was kind of like the weaker parts were kind of those side characters, but like I said, nothing glaringly bad. So like all in all, I'd give this, a solid 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. I'll get behind that. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10.
All right, I think that does it for MoonKnight.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Multiverse of Madness. So it's been almost a week now. Yeah. Got some time to marinate on it, think on it a little bit. What are your thoughts 6 days later?
Still love it. I still need to go see it again, but I still love it. Like, so far, it's my favorite Doctor Strange movie. It's my favorite Marvel movie this year. Like, Doctor Strange was amazing in it. I didn't love Wanda, but she was okay. She was an okay villain. Not too bad. Of course, there were some things that they could have fixed, but you gotta admit that her costume was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about it?
All right. So initial thoughts here. Like you said, Doctor Strange. All the Doctor Stranges were awesome. All of them were. I liked how all of them were, the same but different. And like that's what he was having to realize is like because of his personality, the way he is, he does have the tendency to be willing to dabble in the darker arts to get what he needs, and he has to fight that and realize the consequences of that. So that was just really interesting to explore. Wanda, I really liked her as a villain. I liked her motivation. The only thing with her that I think they could have done better is kind of explain her motivations earlier, or like explain how she got to where she was, because I just feel like it was kind of a leap from Westview to where she started.
Yeah.
And they kind of did by showing you just like the illusion she had cast, the death she had created around herself, like how much the Darkhold had like really started influencing her. But at the same time, they've just introduced the Darkhold, so like we didn't have like any outside of the comics where it's Chthon controlling her through the Darkhold. We didn't have any foundation to like get to that on. So I love the pacing of the movie, but the start could have used a little bit like slower explaining of how she got to where she was, like how much, or just at some point explaining how much the Darkhold was controlling her. Because like just think about it, like Wanda, like we've said before, like she's been through more than like anybody else in the MCU.
Oh,
And like she talks about that a little bit, but like I think that could have really been shown a lot more, like how much pain she was in.
Yeah. I do want to talk about one scene though. My favorite scene.
Okay. What's your
is
favorite
when
scene?
Doctor Strange fights against himself in that destroyed reality.
The musical fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite scene.
Why was that your favorite scene?
Why is that? Because like you said, it really shows that Doctor Strange, being the way he is, he's willing to dabble in the dark arts, and it was interesting to even see like a darker version of Doctor Strange. And and the music in that was just
amazing.
So good for that fight. It was good. And then that final note just flying. That was good. That was really, really good.
Yeah, it definitely like showed what the movie was all about. And there's like one scene for sure. Super good fight scene, super well done concept.
Oh yeah.
Super unique, very, very Sam Raimi.
Yeah, and not only that, Benedict Cumberbatch playing as all those Doctor Stranges. He did such a good job.
Anything else you want to say on that, or?
I guess the one thing I wasn't the biggest fan of. Number one was, is the whole Wanda opening scene. I don't know if I liked how he didn't really confess his love to whatever her name is,
Christine Palmer.
Yeah, Christine Palmer to his Christine Palmer.
Like she's married, like.
Yeah, true.
I had no problem with that. Like,
not that he didn't confess his love. More like he didn't, with what they did with the Christine Palmer that he was with, like what he said to her, he could have said to the other Christine Palmer.
Okay. Well, I didn't really have a problem with that, I guess. But I could see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but
Yeah.
I also guess I kind of understand because it's a different Christine Palmer, so.
Right. So you had mentioned that, them going through the universes, like they, barely spent time in any, right?
Oh, yes.
And you were kind of expecting them to spend more time in lots of different universes. Was that like negative? Were you happy that they didn't spend too much time?
I was happy that they didn't spend too much time. I was so scared they were just going to be like a couple minutes in this universe doing a few things, couple minutes in this universe doing a few things, and we would be like bombarded with like a bunch of Easter eggs and stuff like that. Not saying there aren't a lot of Easter eggs in the movie. There probably like are a ton of Easter eggs in that movie. Yeah. But while yes, at the beginning when they first go through the multiverse, they do go through a lot, but then they end on that one Earth. I forget what Earth. I feel like they called it an Earth. I forget what they called it. But I liked that they just stayed on that Earth for a very long, for a good long while.
Wait, are you talking about where the Illuminati was?
Yeah, where the Illuminati was. I liked how long they stayed on it, and I liked that they then just went straight to the book.
Yeah,
and Book of Ashanti, and then they went
the nexus of all reality.
Then they went to the destroyed universe, and then that was basically it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, perfect, nice.
I agree. Definitely was happy that they did not spend too much time hopping through universes. Mm-hmm. I definitely was a little afraid that they was just going like, oh, get to this universe. Oh, no, we're about to be
same here.
A T-Rex, get to this universe. Oh, no, we're paying.
Yeah. And yes, while they did that at the very beginning when they started jumping through, that was all we needed.
Right. Of those universes that you saw them falling through, any stand out to you?
I mean, that paint one was very... I didn't notice any. And like I said, I have to go watch it again because I'm pretty sure there's a scene that I missed. So yeah, I didn't notice anything. Did you notice one?
Well, there's one that I was very interested to see what happened from the trailer. And that was the animated universe.
Oh.
First of all, it was fantastic look. I love the animated Doctor Strange look. So good.
What do you think it's like, Miles Morales?
I don't know. It's definitely not the same animation, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot closer to like Spider-Man, the animated series style.
Okay.
Looking, but anyways, so let's get to the. I think it was Earth 317. No, 3.
I know they called it something.
There's 3 some. Can't remember. But anyways, where the Illuminati is.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that world and the Illuminati and all that jazz.
First off, I actually liked seeing the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
It just showed us some new heroes that could be on Earth 616. And I think we talked about this before, but Charles Xavier was amazing.
Yes. I guess we can get into my favorite scene then. It was definitely when Charles Xavier goes full Professor X.
Oh yeah.
And just like starts his whole monologue was so good and just like felt so real and so Professor, like, I don't know how to explain it, except it just felt like Professor X was sitting there talking to you, and it was fantastic. Let's go into some other members of the Illuminati. So Captain Carter, what do you think?
I really liked Captain Carter.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they really did a really good job for her. Not as well as Charles Xavier, but pretty close.
Yeah,
I would say. I think the one person in the Illuminati that I feel like they didn't do the best job was Mr. Fantastic. I feel like.
Okay.
I might be remembering it wrong, but I don't know.
We'll talk about him later.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some. So like, for me, Captain Carter, I thought she was really good. Haley Atwell, just such a good actress. Super fun. I really liked her personality. I thought that like came through really well, like her like almost like fun personality that she has. And like in What If, I thought it like was there, but it definitely like didn't come through nearly as strongly as it did in this movie. And I think that's probably just like Haley Atwell's acting abilities.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. What'd you think of her?
I thought she was interesting. You know, well, even though I thought she was Black Panther.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched the trailer, if you remember my trailer breakdown, I thought it was Black Panther as well. She has that little like shiny necklace.
Yeah.
And when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, ooh, Black Panther. And I thought it was Black Panther up until we saw her face, and I was like, oh, you know, which I knew she was because in the trailer where you see her fighting Wanda, I knew she was going to be in it, but I didn't know that's who they showed there.
Okay. Yeah, I thought she was actually.
Well, I feel like she's. Go ahead. Sorry.
I thought she was very interesting. Of course, you know, you have so many characters that you can work on, so I feel like they gave her enough time to really...
Right. Like you said, interesting, I think is a good word, because, like, you know, they don't go in-depth into her, really.
Yeah.
So definitely something that was, like, worth exploring, but I'm glad they didn't, you know, go delve too much into it where it just bogged down the movie. Like I said, it's a very fast-paced movie, and definitely left, you know, a lot to our speculation with her, but also just did a good job with her. Black Bolt.
First off, I loved the way he looked.
Yeah. Have you seen the Inhumans TV show at all?
No, I have not. Okay.
So it's the actor that played him in the Inhumans TV show. Right.
Oh.
The show is garbage, by the way. And he looked 1,000 times better. Like his costume in the show is so bad. And I like him as an actor. I thought he did a fine job acting as Black Bolt, but like
his costume didn't help him?
No, definitely not. And it just looked so much better. And he just did a really good job.
Okay. Was there anything else? Anything else about Black Bolt?
His death was super cool, too.
Oh, you liked his death?
I did.
I don't know if I liked it, really, but I can understand it. I understand it.
Let's see. Mordo?
Oh, even though it wasn't Mordo from Earth 616, I did like how Doctor Strange was interacting with this Mordo.
Yeah.
Like, I loved how he kept saying, like, oh, yeah, well, my Mordo, like, even though you're here, you probably gave him the buck.
Yeah, like, the way it showed that, because, like, right in the first Doctor Strange, they are friends.
Yeah.
And they're really good friends. He's who he learned from. And so, I feel like, you've kind of forgotten that since we hadn't seen him in so long.
Mm-hmm.
But they just did such a good job of showing, like, he knows how to push his buttons. Like, he was, you know, trying to get him to fight him, right?
Yeah.
And he just was
it's
just so good at it because, like, he knew him so well. Even though he didn't know him.
Yeah.
He knew Mordo so well from Earth 616, so he was able to push his buttons just right and get what he wanted, and that was very good.
And even the fight between the two.
The fight was fantastic.
I loved it.
And the way that they filmed that. Oh my goodness, loved the camera work in that scene. One of my favorite fight scenes in the whole movie. Anything else about Mordo?
I mean, great hairstyle.
It is cool. It was cool. His whole look was super cool.
Oh yeah.
The sword was super cool, and just like it fit the way his rest of his outfit looked. Like,
oh yeah,
it was a little more like flowy, a little more like
Mhm.
he was definitely seemed like he was the Sorcerer Supreme now, you know. And then that sword just really fit with the whole aesthetic of it. I thought they did a great job with that. All right, so moving on to Mr. Fantastic then, because I've in my research and what people have been saying, there's definitely mixed reviews.
Okay.
So John Kozinski acting as him, we'll start with. I mean, he's been a fan pick to play him forever, right? So for me, when I first saw him on the screen, like it almost didn't feel real.
Mm-hmm,
It like was like
it just like to me it looked like it was animated.
Well, to me it like just like looked like what I've seen so much. You know, it was just like it definitely didn't look animated. It was very CGI, but like it just looked,
yeah, that's what it was. CGI.
Right.
It looked
I mean,
CGI.
it was like he definitely was. I'm guessing. My guess would be he was like they did all those scenes without him, and then they finally got him to play the part or decided to add him in, and I think he was put in later or put over whoever was acting as him before because I didn't know who was going to play him based on just the look of it. But it looked fantastic in my opinion.
I did like his costume.
Mm-hmm.
I did
and just his entrance. The way he entered, such a Mr. Fantastic entrance.
Okay, yeah, true. Like it was very like technological entrance, and it was so good. It was good.
Even before we see him, when Christine Palmer says the Baxter Building, I got so happy, and I was just like, I literally was just like, which one is it gonna be, you know? And then I think that's partially why when I saw him, I was like, this can't be real. Like this is just a fan made thing. Like there's no way he's actually here. And then he was, and it was like, oh my god, this is so cool. But yeah, so John Krasinski playing. What are your thoughts? Do you think he's a good choice?
I liked him at the start when they all go to face against Wanda. Wasn't really a huge fan of what he said because I think we talked about it a little bit. You said that it wasn't Mr. Fantastic.
It wasn't necessarily like a Mr. Fantastic thing to say. Like he basically like went up to her. It was almost like a villain type dealio where he's just like tells her their plan. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's just like Black Bolt could kill you, and it's like I don't know. It felt he's a very arrogant person, but it just felt very like forced a little bit. Like. They were just like, how do we get Black Bolt out of the way? Well, he could just tell him, you know. And I don't know, the writing could have been a little better there, but like it was definitely not the way it was acted or anything. I think he like in my opinion.
Know. I feel like I don't know. Just that one moment, as I thought about it, was just like I'm not the biggest fan of that moment right there. While yes, just like right after it with Black Bolt dying. A little dark there, but I actually really, really liked.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think Mr. Fantastic was an okay character. Not my favorite, not the best Illuminati in the group, but he was pretty good.
So this is kind of moving into some things I have to talk about. So we'll talk about them a little bit here. In a Fantastic Four future movie that's coming out, would you want John Krasinski to play him? Would you want that just to have been a cameo and let's move on to somebody else?
You know what? I would give him another chance. I would say yes. Let's get him in a movie, and I think it could really. I think if he were to continuously play as Mr. Fantastic in the MCU, I think he could become a very amazing Mr. Fantastic.
So yeah, I kind of want to move into like what this means for the universe, Marvel's MCU now. Right.
Okay.
So we have this movie, right? We'll start by, I guess, talk about the post-credit scene here. It seems that something's coming, right?
Oh yes.
So Clea comes. Who, if you don't know who she is the niece of Dormammu. So basically, what happens is Dormammu sends her in the comics. Dormammu sends her to Earth to basically take out Doctor Strange in the whole of it, right? He sends her there to like get rid of anyone powerful enough to stop him, to figure out, you know, follow around the sorcerers, see what's going on Earth, take out people she can, make it easier for her when he comes to Earth to consume the Earth. Well, she ends up following Doctor Strange and being like, wow, this guy's actually like super cool. Like I've only ever been in the dark dimension where, you know, everybody's evil basically. I'm watching this guy who's like noble, laying his life down for for random people, like. And so she ends up falling in love with him. Long story short. It's a very long story, cut very short, but that's what's happening. They end up, she becomes his apprentice, so on and so forth. So anyway, she shows up, and then credit scene, and it's like, hey, Convergence is coming, let's go, right?
Yeah.
Or Convergence, Insurgence, I don't know.
I forget what it's
but
called.
Basically, two universes are going to crash into each other. So, on the other side, we've got Mordo back there, right? Who doesn't die.
Mm-hmm.
He's still alive. We have Mordo on 616 that's still alive.
Yeah.
We've got America Chavez still running around.
Yeah. She's probably going to be the one to stop this.
Well, she wasn't in the end credit scene, though. So they're going to have to go get it. Anyways. So Wong's still alive and kicking as the Sorcerer Supreme. Is Wanda alive and kicking? We don't know. She is in other universes.
Yeah. So one thing that really stood out to me in the whole movie was there was a big red flash when the temple was destroyed.
The Mount Wundagore.
Mountain. So I don't know if that was just her dying to symbolize her dying, or if something else happened and she's alive.
I'm not sure exactly. I feel like that was just symbolizing her power being a big use of her power to destroy the mountain. But
yet it was already falling. It was already
still out, but she was using a lot of power to make it fall, and it's a big old mountain. it's not like she was just I just.
But it was already
destroying it.
Okay, true. But still, just to me, that I feel like there's something more behind that.
Okay.
Maybe it is whoever is whatever his name is, who is part of the Darkhold. Chthon.
Well, here's my theory.
Chthon is behind it all along.
No. I wish, as I said before, I do wish Chthon was a little bit more referenced, if not a more bigger part of the movie. But that's okay. I don't have a problem with it. In the comics, there is this character called the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary basically turns animals into fully sentient human beings, basically.
Okay, weird.
He just does a lot of experiments on animals and people and combines them and jazz like that. He has a whole world that's identical to the Earth, in which it's occupied by these creatures.
In the same universe as Earth 616, or is it different?
Anyways,
okay.
Yes, I would say in the same universe. I believe, at least. I don't know the answer to that fully. Well, the High Evolutionary is pretty well confirmed to be the villain of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh.
So, and based on rumors, it's believed that will take place somewhat on Earth. So my theory is, because the High Evolutionary in the comics is who gives Wanda her powers.
Okay.
And we just and when he comes to Earth, he sets up shop on Mount Wundagore and basically uses the Darkhold magic to do his experiments.
What the deuce?
So, my theory is that because he's coming into the universe now, we know that he will be in the MCU, he is going to come to Earth, be on Mount Wundagore, and basically bring Wanda back to life, or try to use her powers, which will reanimate her. And that's what we'll get.
Well, we already had a reanimation of Doctor Strange.
But because Wanda, I don't think they're going to do away with Wanda in our universe because she's such a big hero in the MCU already. But I do think it would be pretty cheap if they were oh, she survived. That'd be pretty, that would take away a lot of
that's
the hit from it. So or if she did survive, she doesn't have her powers anymore. She had to use air quotes, use up her powers to destroy this ancient magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the High Evolutionary is the way they can get around that.
Okay.
So that's my hope, I guess, that they could be doing now. So with this convergence of universes happening, that seems like I'm very confident that we're headed towards Secret Wars, which is where two universes in the comics collide. The whole battle world set up, fighting between heroes, all that jazz happens, right? For that to happen, I feel like we need two things. We need the Fantastic Four movie, right?
Yeah.
And we need Doctor Doom. It's the two biggest parts
that we don't have. Doctor Doom came. Oh.
And we kind of need Ghost Rider and some other people, and the X-Men definitely need to be. But like that's like the two things like have to happen. So I personally think, contrary to, I don't know if it's contrary to popular belief, but definitely contrary to what people have said, I thought Mr. Fantastic was fantastic in Multiverse Madness. I thought John Krasinski nailed it perfectly.
And I won't hate you for that.
I think like I'm gonna go out there and say it. He was the best Mr. Fantastic I've seen on screen.
Okay. I'm
not saying like the actor who played him in the Fantastic Four movie was a good actor. The movie might be garbage, but he did a good job. But John Krasinski, there's something about the way he embodied like the arrogance with still being like a very thoughtful person that I really enjoyed. Just like the way he talked, the way he carried himself, just very much said Mr. Fantastic to me. Now, we also know that the director of the Fantastic Four movie parted ways with Marvel for that. It was John Watts who did the Spider-Man No Way Home and all that. And he wants to do some other things. So they parted ways, which now leaves room for John Krasinski, as we know, an incredible director, to star in and direct the movie. I would be totally fine with either. I don't think he needs to do both, but like if he directed or acted in it, I'd be very happy. The one thing I wouldn't be happy about is the fact that I absolutely love him as an actor and want to see him direct and act other things. And usually when someone, does a Marvel movie, they're now tied down for like 10 years or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think like being Mr. Fantastic, he would still have time. Like it's not, especially with how big the MCU is, it's not like he's going to always have to be working on something. I feel like there'd be some gaps where other movies are happening that he'd be able to do his own projects. And I'm sure, knowing the way he likes to do contracts and stuff, he wants room to do his own work. So I'm sure he'll try to work that in. But that's my only fear is like, I don't want to lose John Krasinski and other things. But I'm very excited for that. If that were the case. But anyways, I want to be surprised if this universe where Mordo is the one converging with ours, because they spent so much time there. And it seems like they left Mordo there for a reason. It's like we're going to explore that universe again.
Yeah.
This is a random theory I had when I was watching the movie. Because as I said in my trailer breakdown, I thought by the end, Wanda was going to do something that brought the MC or brought mutants to the MCU. Mm-hmm. I thought she was going to say at the end, instead of her no more mutants like she does in the comics, let there be mutants or something along those lines. But that didn't happen clearly.
Or maybe it did with that big flash.
Right. As we know from WandaVision, right, we have Wanda's power coming in contact with Maria Rambeau, gave her powers, right?
Oh.
And there's this big old flash that seemed like it went a pretty long ways. I wouldn't be surprised if they use that to be like, whatever it hit, all their mutant genes were activated.
Oh. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
So, yeah. There's Rogue rambling for 6 minutes or whatever.
I had a thought, then you made me completely forget it, so that's fun.
Yeah. High Evolutionary, what do you think of that? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, any thoughts?
I'm trying to remember. I had something big that I wanted to say.
Secret Wars, any thoughts? Doctor Doom?
Oh, I would love it. Again, I would love Doctor Doom.
Is there any actor that you like thinking, I want to see play Doctor Doom?
I don't know, because Doctor Doom's such a specific character.
Very unique, very specific. So and it's really interesting because he's not only is he insanely powerful, he's insanely intelligent, he's large.
Well, I mean, come on, he does work out.
He's imposing. He's the king.
Oh, yeah.
He's rich. There's so much that he is. Finding an actor that can embody all that
could be a little hard. A little difficult.
But there are some things they can do. One of which is make him older than he would be in the comic. Because we don't need an origin story,
Yeah.
Well, we do kind of to say, how is he in the MCU, then we haven't heard about him, right? We do need a little bit of, explanation, but we don't need an origin story. So he can be older, and...
Don't they talk about Latveria in the...
It has been name dropped a couple of times.
Okay. I feel like they name dropped Victor Von Doom or something.
Oh, did they? Oh, I think they might have in...
Yeah. In a Spider-Man or something.
Yeah.
I feel like they did. Well, we'll have to look that up and see. But yeah, if they did, then basically he's already in the MCU. But yeah, as you were saying, an older version would actually be kind of interesting. But again, it goes back to it's going to be difficult to embody this kind of character. He is one of my favorite supervillains of all time. Like he's a pretty cool.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Fantastic Four, and that's where he shows up most in. And I haven't read a ton of their comics or anything, but like in Secret Wars comics, he's so good, and in the Spider-Man comics where he shows up, he's so good. He's just such a good like intermediate level villain. Like he's definitely not a street level, but he's not like a cosmic level. He's not like middle level.
Yeah,
he is so good at. He's like Loki, similar to like a Loki level, a little higher like in power level, but like that level of villain is so good at it.
Yeah, I do know in like a version of Doctor Doom that I've seen, he like integrated magic into his technology.
Oh yeah, that is kind of his powers. Like, so he has like similar to like chaos type magic as Wanda, but he is like I said, genius, and so yeah, he integrates his magic into his technology, and that's what makes him so powerful.
Yeah, just seeing that, it's gonna be so cool. Yeah. So anything else?
Yeah, I think. So yeah, I think that kind of does it for our little breakdown of Multiverse of Madness. We both are gonna watch it some more, right?
Yep, we're gonna watch it again, and then probably try and get a movie breakdown of it,
so we full movie review of it coming out, before
so you can know our thoughts. My judgment on Mr. Fantastic may change, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. And yeah, so moving on to other upcoming things. You got any Star Wars news?
Oh, I got some news for you.
Okay.
So, number one, nothing really new, except I did get catfished for the Obi-Wan. I watched it, and I watched through the whole thing, and I was like, wait, did they change how the Grand Inquisitor looks? If they did, I may have some hope for this show, but no, they didn't. I was catfished into it.
Yeah.
It was sad. I was so sad, and I was just like, oh, they're not going to fix it. Unless they do fix it, and that's why they pushed it back 2 days, maybe. But other than that, nothing really new that I've seen for Obi-Wan. Nothing new on Andor, Mandalorian, or Bad Batch, but something for Ahsoka.
Oh?
They're in post-production of the show making. Not only that, I've looked at the actors, and there's one actor that could play Barriss Offee.
Oh?
And I would absolutely love it if she was in.
That would be pretty awesome if she was introduced.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so excited for the show.
Yeah, I think she would make a really good villain for Ahsoka.
She would be a perfect villain for Ahsoka. But yeah, I'm so excited for this show.
All right.
Other than that, nothing else new. But yeah, that was the big news that I had for Ahsoka. Oh,
Right.
What about Marvel?
Not too much. They did release a teaser trailer for Miss Marvel.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
It was awful.
Was it awful as in they spoiled too much, or
everything? Like, so as I said before, like the first little clip they did of it was like, okay, this could be interesting. The way that they're giving her powers, the way her character acts, the interactions they have with other characters, all of it, except they kind of like the look. I like the dark look it has. It seems to be going back to kind of like how, superheroes, do the thing at night,
Oh.
Seems to kind of be going to that, which will be interesting if I doubt they'll stick with that, but like based on the short amount of footage I've seen, it seems like it's a little bit leaning towards that way. But yeah, that's literally the only thing I enjoyed from it. It was one of my least favorite trailers I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
It did not make me excited in the least.
Okay.
Aside from that, we haven't got anything new about Thor: Love and Thunder. We've got some, like I said, we got some photos from the set of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh.
Their uniforms. It looks like they're going with the classic uniforms from like the video game, with the red and dark blue with the Guardians of the Galaxy logo.
Yeah.
Which are super cool. They look very comic book accurate, which is exciting. But that's about all we learned about that. And we haven't learned anything about Wakanda Forever. Like I said last time, they did switch the release dates of the Marvels and Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will be coming out February 5th, I believe. And the Marvels will be coming out next July.
Okay.
Not sure what that means, like I said, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm guessing this is why I think with Mr. Fantastic coming out, they're trying to get Kang here. Speaking of which, we didn't even talk about the name drop of Mr. Fantastic saying, "I have a kid."
Oh.
If anybody doesn't know who that is, it would be Franklin Richards, most likely. That's his kid in the comics. But we'll get into that in the movie review. Little teaser trailer of my own. But yes. But I think that's about it.
All right.
Back and forth. Next week, we will be doing... what will we be doing?
We're going to be doing fight scenes from the Marvel Universe.
Our favorite fight scenes. I'm pretty sure everybody knows mine, but...
No, it can't be that one.
And then might be a couple Instant Judgments coming out. There's a few movies I've been looking at wanting to go watch. So
Instant Judgments movie review for Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And then just next week for fight scenes.
Alrighty. We'll see you all next week.
Don't put yourselves inside a box.